What's going on YouTube? This is V85 here, and this is the deck profile for the regional Watt deck that I played. First of all, I'm going to apologize for the quality visually of this video. My camera is still on the fritz, so I'm having to use a webcam, and I'm actually using a new space, so I'm experimenting around with this. So I'm going to try to keep movement down, but you might occasionally get like a cameo from Decythel or Sentinel Prime or Cliff Jumper up there, so bear with me. I'm going to try to breeze through this profile really quick, and I'm going to talk about some of the rulings and some of the stuff that I noticed from the regional. So first of all, monster lineup: 1 Giraffe, 3 Cobra, 3 Shining Angel, 3 Dragonfly, 3 Hopper, 1 Arcana Force to full, and 2 effect failures. Spells: 2 Duality, 2 MST, 2 Messengers, 1 for 1, Dark Hole, and Monster Reborn. Traps: Solemn Brigade, 3 Huge Revolution, 3 Bribe, 2 Mirror Force, 2 Fiendish Chain, 2 Threatening Roars. Side deck was 2 Lava Golem, 3 Fossil Dinopaca 1 Watt Fox, 2 Prohibition, a 3rd MST, 3 Macrocosmos, and 3 Goes in Match. I really don't want to talk about the extra deck that much because you honestly don't go into the extra deck at all with this deck. The only times when you'll go into it is maybe game 3, and that's if your opponent has, or you put your opponent in time and they're trying to stall you out with Utopia, so you can't attack them directly and everything. Pretty much like your entire extra deck is going to be nothing but generics and everything, but the generics I do really insist that you put in there are Mistworm and Mystroke, mainly because those are your 2 big answers to Utopia. And since like you can side in stuff like Macrocosmos, and you don't have to worry about effect failures to ruin off your play and make you just lose just because of the random mailer and shit like that. But Mistworm won me a game, Mystroke helped me win a game as well. So like those are the 2 absolute extra deck cards that I would insist playing. And I've got Watt Chimera out here as well, mainly because I was afraid of the Exodia Final Countdown matchups, because like you just don't put that much damage on the board that quickly in order to get them down to 0. So the best thing that the deck can do against those random FTK decks that just draw and really have to manage their hand is to disrupt their hand. And the best way to do that is to go Watt Cobra and tutor into Watt Fox, and then synchro into Watt Chimera. So therefore, every time the Watt Chimera attacks, you're putting a card back on top of their deck. So theoretically, if they're playing Exodia and they're stuck with a piece or some card that really isn't helping them out, you can just go Watt Chimera, attack them directly, and keep on putting that piece back repeatedly. So, I mean, it's a good win condition against those random Exodia decks and shit like that. So, really do need to talk about some rulings. The main ruling I need to talk about is Cobra, Pheasant, and Giraffe, and what it has to apply to Shockmaster. Now, Shockmaster says that you can remove material and your opponent cannot activate whatever you call. Okay? So, if you call monster effects, they cannot activate monster effects during their turn until the end phase of your opponent's turn. So, what this relates to Giraffe, Pheasant, and Cobra is that their ability to attack directly is not an activated effect. It is a continuous effect. So if your opponent calls Shockmaster or plays Shockmaster and calls monster effects, you can still attack directly with your Giraffe and your Cobras. You just can't activate the effect to add a Watt to your hand, or actually I don't think Shockmaster actually stops Watt Draft's effect, because it actually doesn't activate, it just applies itself. And that's another thing I need to talk about Watt Giraffe. When Watt Giraffe attacks, like I said, its effect just applies itself. It doesn't actually activate when it does damage calculation. So that means that your opponent can't activate anything in response that would start a chain. So that means that your opponent cannot Gorge you, they can't Tragodia you, they can't negate the effect with Evolzar Dolka or Photon Strike Bouncer, and they can't activate cards like Divine Wrath and Gladiator Beast War Chariot in response. Because, like I said, Watthopper does not activate, it just applies itself. And when, also regarding Shockmaster, you also have to put this into Watthoppers, because Watthopper is again a continuous effect. So your opponent, if you have the Watthopper lock up, and your opponent goes Shockmaster, calls monster effects, they cannot automatically just start attacking you, because there's no effect to activate. Hopper still locks down. If you've gone through the deck list, you'll notice one thing. It's like, why isn't there a Recycling Batteries and or a Pot of Avarice or something like that? And the true answer is I kind of forgot it. And honestly, I didn't even notice it until round 4 or something like that. So like, I really didn't miss it or anything like that. But definitely do not play the deck without a Recycling Batteries or a Pot of Avarice. That was just bad Yu-Gi-Ohs on my part. If anything, I suggest not really playing Arcana Force Zero. He honestly didn't come that much in handy. You know, I never one-for-one into him to create the wall. I didn't do anything like that at all. So if you're going to play anything, definitely play Recycling Batteries or Avarice over Arcana Force. That's just from my experience. Let's see, what else I need to talk about? Oh, okay, let's talk about side deck. So, you'll notice that like all these guys are Thunder Lights, except for Shining Angel and Arcana Force and Effect Veiler. And, you know, really Effect Veiler should never even be on the field in the first place. But if you're going to have Shining Angel out, it's mostly going to be in face-down defense position anyway, which means that you can set it. So, playing stuff like Goes in Match or Rivalry of Warlords, it really doesn't matter which one. You can still go into both of those. And both of those cards really, really hurt the meta right now. If you're looking for something to hurt windups, Goes in Match is definitely one of those cards that just it rips windups a new one, because then, you know, they can't go Shark Magician on you. Or if they go Tour Guide into Sangan, and you flip Gozen, they can't. They pretty much can't make any Exceed plays against you, because there aren't any dark rank 3s out that, you know, that are at least commonly used. And Gozen Match and Rivalry both have interesting rulings against them, saying that, you know, if your opponent controls a type of monster and they attempt to synchro or Exceed, they can't special summon into a different type. They have to stay with that type, because that's what the game state recognizes, is that type. So take, for instance, if you have a face-up Gozen Match and you're playing against Frog Monarchs, they attempt to go Tree Frog and tribute into Caius. They cannot do it, because the game state still recognizes that Gozen Match recognizes that the fielded attribute is still water, even though the Treeborn has been tributed. It still recognizes that as game state. So keep that in mind. The other really, really great cards that really put in work were Lava Golem and Fossil Dynapack of Cephalo. And really, like, Fossil Dyna, you don't special summon that much at all, because you really don't use your extra deck. And the only thing that's really going to hurt you is your hoppers. And you really have to play it. Play Fossil Dyna smartly in regards to Watthhoppers, but it really, really helps the deck, and it just stops a lot of bullshit right now. And the same thing is with Lava Golem. It stops lots and lots of problem cards out there. Your opponent has a Shockmaster and some other monster, you know, you can just tribute their Shockmaster and their other monster and just make them sit on a Lava Golem. And that's always really, really fun. So, like I said, this is just like a passing on of experience and knowledge about the deck and all that kind of stuff. If you're wanting to play it, definitely PM me for more advice if you want it and all that kind of stuff, and I'll gladly help. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. This is B85. Over and out.